Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Tina Duckett, Director of Public Relations for the Troup County School System, and you are watching Spotlight on Education. This is a great show for you to learn more about our school system, the happenings with our students, our staff, and the wonderful programs that we offer from day to day. Joining me in the studio is Thomas Moat, and he is an ESOL teacher at Ethel Kight, and ESOL, and help me out with this if I don't get it correctly, is English Speakers of Other Languages. Okay, good. And we also have Linus Parker, who is a counselor, and she is with Ethel Kight as well. So thank you all for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
We are so excited they're here, and we are going to learn so much more about Ethel Kight Elementary School. But before we get into that, we know that Ethel Kight is one of our 12 elementary schools in the Troup County School System. And the principal couldn't be here today, but who is your principal?
Candace McGee is our principal, and Nicole Stewart is our assistant principal, or as we call an instructional specialist.
Okay, and again, that's very similar to an assistant principal.
Correct.
I won't date myself, but growing up, that's what we called them. The roles and responsibilities are similar. So Candace McGee is the principal, and Nicole Stewart is the assistant principal. And how many students are enrolled this school year?
About 655 this school year.
Is that typical?
No, we've grown a good bit this year. We, of course, absorbed some of the students from Unity Elementary with the closing of that school.
Okay.
And then we also, after the first of the year, with the new zone changes, with the elementary zone changes, we also absorbed some of those students as well, which meant some shifting and changes after the school year started. We added 4 additional teachers.
Okay.
And so that meant a lot of schedule changes, classroom changes, a lot of moving and shaking a little bit. So after Labor Day, we kind of had our second startup for school year.
Gotcha.
But it's been a smooth transition. We have a very positive, warm, flexible staff, and so we made it work.
And speaking of staff, how many staff help to make the operation?
We have currently about 76 staff members that are on site in the building.
Now, the number of students, do you know what that increase is in comparison to previous years?
I believe we were looking at some data yesterday, and it's a good 150 more students than we had last year.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So it's been quite a change.
Students, transferring students, rezoned students. And
correct.
So okay.
Correct.
Okay. Well, great. So let's talk about the transition, and you've shared some of that, but we know that you know, in transition, what's the climate like? What's going on in the school? How did the students from Unity, how are they transitioning? And I know this is something that our viewers would want to know.
Well, we began that process last spring. When we knew with Unity closing, we scheduled an open house that was held in the spring and invited our Unity families to come and tour the school and meet our staff members and share in some refreshments and things. And that was quite helpful. We had a few families come and show some interest in wanting to meet and get a head start on the school year. So that was very helpful. However, with the zone changes, some of that happened after the school year had started, as far as some of the reassignments of the students.
Okay.
So that piece has been a little less planned for, but again, we just were very flexible and just tried to embrace that with just a positive attitude that, you know, at Ethel Kight, we're there to educate the students, and we want them to feel at home, and we want them to feel like we're a family, because that's what we are. So we feel pretty comfortable
And
with
how
that.
are the students acclimating to their new school?
I think they're doing pretty well for the most part. I think it was quite helpful that Ms. McGee came to us from Unity as well. So we not only did we have new students to transition, we had a new administrator. And so that made the process, I think, go even more smoothly. It helped us as a staff because she knows many of those families, and so she can, you know, give us a head start on what to expect and who to work with and things like that. It's also been helpful to see the growth that you know, whenever there's a change, you know, there's positive parts of that change. And so Ms. McGee brings things from her building to our building, and the sharing of ideas has been quite helpful.
That's
because,
great.
you know, we just tried to incorporate a lot of that together.
And how are the parents adjusting?
I think they're adjusting well. It's
And
going
we're
well.
almost halfway through the school
Yes.
term, and so it's
Yes.
good to hear that they're doing well and adjusting well.
I think so.
And we know that very soon you all will move to a different location.
Yes, we
So
will.
that, not because of a closure, permanent
No,
closure,
no,
let's
no.
clear that up.
No,
But
kind of a
more
temporary thing.
Right, for construction purposes, because
Yes.
you are getting a new school.
A brand new school. That's
All
what
right,
they say.
all
We're
right.
excited.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about that. When will that take place, and what can you tell us about that?
The end of this school year, they're going to start demolishing the old Ethel Kight building. Sorry. We are going to be transferred to West Side, staff and students, spend about a year there as the new Ethel Kight is getting built. So the following fall, we should move into, I think, 2015, 2016 will be the year
Yes.
that we will be moving into our new Ethel Kight site. We are looking very forward to all the newness of a new building.
Yes,
So
that
we're
is
looking,
exciting.
everyone is excited.
That's great. That's great. And if our viewers want to learn more about that, please check our website or feel free to call the Troup County Board of Education, and we can provide you more information about that as well. I'd like to talk about school climate, because oftentimes I know we're in the process of completing a parent survey. We're asking parents to complete a survey, and part of that survey covers school climate. So how would you describe Ethel Kight's school climate?
Well, we commonly refer to Ethel Kight as Ethel's house. And Miss Ethel Kight, obviously, who the school is named for, was a very distinguished leader from the past school system. We try to make Miss Ethel, there's a portrait of her in the front lobby, we try to kind of make her, even though she has passed away, we try to make her, you know, a part of our building and a part of what we believe in as far as education, because she was very dedicated to her students and to the mission of educating lifelong learners. So last spring when we were meeting, our leadership team developed kind of an affirmation, and we actually took it from the Unity staff. Mm-hmm. They had used it. And in anticipation of the Unity students coming to our school, we wanted to incorporate some of where they were coming from. And yes, yeah. Absolutely. So we have this little affirmation that's printed on our t-shirts, and it's in our bulletin boards, and it's just part of who we are. So I was going to share it with you. But
sure.
It says, at Ethel's house, we do thank yous, we do real, we do I'm sorry's, we do praise, we do lots of tests, we do laughter, we do mistakes, we do respect, we do happiness, we do dreams, we do peace, we do growing, we do working hard, we do friendships, we do learning. We are family, and this is how we roll.
Oh, good.
So that's really, that describes a lot about our climate as far as our staff and students.
Something that maybe the children even had input in.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like
I
it.
believe.
Yeah.
I believe so. I think at Unity it was definitely a part of what they began, and then we just wanted to continue that spirit. And I think you'll find that spirit in our building. Our staff works very hard to create a home away from home. Many of these students, and our staff members for that matter, spend more time in that building many times than they do in their own homes. So we rely on each other and we lean on each other. So we are a family, and that's how we try to roll.
And that's great to hear. And I know that every school has its mission as well as our school system, which the mission of the individual school connects and ties into the system mission. So what is Ethel Kight's mission?
Well, we strive to create that lifelong learning through academic excellence and social responsibility.
Okay, okay. And it takes every team player to do his or her part to make that happen. So tell me about your part in this as counselor, Ms. Parker.
Well, I would definitely take some ownership for the social responsibility part. The academic excellence, I'll leave that to the teachers. That's definitely their their expertise. But the social responsibility, there's many, many things, and it doesn't just come from me. It's a lot of school-wide effort. And so we do a lot of school-wide projects, like we have a Student of the Week program that's tied in with our character education program. We also have affirmations that we use on our daily broadcast as far as with the character words. We have, you know, by definition, an example and story, and the stories are written about staff members and students, so we try to make it personal.
Okay.
And relate to the stakeholders that we serve. We also, I'm part of the rotation schedule at our school, and what that means is when students go to their PE classes or their music or art or technology, there's times that they also are served by me, the school counselor, and many times on the schedule it says counseling, but it's what we would refer to as classroom guidance. And so I use a program called Second Step, Social Skills and Academic Excellence. And it's a great program that addresses study skills, it addresses empathy training, emotion management, and problem solving. And it's quite helpful. It gives some building blocks for our children to learn about how to get along with others, how to participate the right way as far as behavior and social skills, and it also supports what's going on in the classroom.
Now, does every student participate?
Yes, that's all of our students, because I serve kindergarten through 5th.
Okay.
Of course, pre-K, they use their own program in our pre-K classrooms, but it's the same thing.
Okay.
It's just on a pre-kindergarten level.
Gotcha.
And but there's a different kit is what they're called for each grade level. And so, for example, we might focus on how I would manage when I get very frustrated. How do I manage that feeling, and how do I deal with it the right way? And we teach the children some skills to calm down and to think clearly and to problem solve. So I see that as a huge part of
development.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And if many of these skills are already being taught in the home, this is just something that complements that. So it's not anything new or different that a family would feel uncomfortable about, and I would invite anyone to come and participate and watch a lesson. But sometimes our families are structured in a way that it's difficult for them to learn those skills. So we try to provide that and to fill in those little spots. So
the academic piece along with the social development piece.
And I love this. This is actually a revised kit. They've added the academic piece as far as skills for learning is what they call it, and it's an opportunity to learn listening skills and how to pay attention and ignore distractions. So that's very helpful.
That's huge.
The teachers love that. Yes, they love that part.
That's a skill I think all of us could benefit from.
Absolutely. So, and it's I serve all of the students through the rotation model. So our ESOL population, our special needs population, all of those children are exposed as well. So it's a great tool for all of our students, but I love it as well because it allows me the opportunity to be in the classroom and to see the dynamics of each class and to see the children interact with each other and how they're getting along.
And I know that's rewarding in and of itself, and we'll talk about that shortly. But Mr. Mote, I want to draw you into the conversation and tell us more about ESOL.
Well, that is our program in Troup County, where the students who are coming to our country or have been in our country are trying to get proficient in English. Right now we have students from a Hispanic background, Korean background, we have Japanese students, students from China, we have a student from France, I believe, and that's one of the high schools. And our goal is to make them more English proficient by giving them skills and strategies that they may not be able to get on a one-to-one basis in their classroom. Our program is growing. We're getting more and more of these students into our system, and Troup County is kind of ahead of the game by realizing that it's only going to grow more with more manufacturing coming in, more students coming into our area. We need to go ahead and we need to be proactive. This past year I had an opportunity to go to WIDA, which is our world-class instructional design and assessment, which is kind of like our guidance for ESOL.
Is it almost like a Georgia Department of Education?
Very,
on a
very
different
similar,
level?
but it's geared just for English language learners.
Okay.
I got to spend a week up there learning from the pros of what's best for the students. So I was able to bring that back, incorporate that into Troup County School Systems, and hopefully see some results with our student population from ESOL.
And how many students roughly do you know system-wide, and then in your classroom?
And what we have caseloads.
Okay, in
my
your caseload.
caseload, I'm serving about 75 students.
Wow.
Most of them are at Ethel Kight. We have a few here at Rosemont that I serve, a few at Hillcrest, and a few at Berta that I go and serve on a basis. System-wide, we're probably about 700 to 800 students.
Really?
Some of those are not actually served. They have exited the program,
Okay.
but we're just monitoring them to make sure that they are progressing as well as their peers are progressing.
So how long, if I'm a student on your caseload,
Yes, ma'am.
how long do I stay in the program?
And that's, if you come in possibly around pre-K or kindergarten, we're seeing an increase of students leaving the program about 3rd grade or 4th grade.
Because they're proficient.
Because they were getting a proficient. Typically about 5 years is what we're seeing as an average.
Okay.
If you come in middle and high school, it may take a little bit longer
Right.
because you're more
Proficient
developing
in
your
your
other
other
language, and it's
language,
a
yeah.
little bit difficult
Yeah.
to do that. Not to say that it's impossible, it's just a little bit difficult.
Okay, all right. So clearly, we know that there are benefits with offering counseling and ESOL services, but define those for us. Spell those out for us. What are the benefits?
Well, you know, I do feel like, as far as from the counseling program, the opportunity for me to work through the rotation model allows me to develop skills. Instead of putting what I would call Band-Aids on situations, I can actually teach skills to all the children to help them deal with problems that occur just normally in life, just dealing with the daily stresses and dealings of life. But obviously there are certain needs that require my individual attention or perhaps small group attention, and so I try to address those as well. Sometimes it's a challenge with the schedule, but we do that as well. And I am a school counselor. I'm not a therapist, so I try to help give children some skills and some strategies to deal with whatever it is that's troubling them or causing them to have a distraction from school. And many times I make referrals for families to refer them to outside agencies, because those are the professionals in as far as therapy and psychology and type things like that.
That's a blessing in and of itself, because working with you, you're able to see additional needs and help those families address those needs.
And I do try to work closely with the families and keep them a part of the team, because we are, you know, for a child to be successful, it takes all of us working together.
It does.
And so trying to build that bridge between home and school is another part of my job. I try to many times be the liaison between home and teacher and the student. But my primary advocacy is for that child. I want to make sure that the child is succeeding and that the child's needs are being met. So that's my daily goal. And every day it changes as far as how I attack that goal. But my primary goal is to advocate for the needs of those children.
And I know our viewers, and some may be aware, that children come to school, many of them, with what has been termed as baggage.
Absolutely.
And some, you know, it's things that some adults can't even carry.
Exactly.
And then the children enter into the classrooms and they're expected to learn. But we've got to address those non-academic barriers as well.
Yes.
So that that child is free to learn.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it, you know, I describe to people sometimes that if you were to turn on the news and just watch for 5 minutes and imagine that, you know, there are children in those situations. Wherever we see adults making poor choices, there's children watching, there's children participating many times.
Or connected.
How, you know, somehow they are connected. That's somebody's father, somebody's uncle, someone's mother or aunt.
Exactly right.
And so, and children, they don't understand. They're not developmentally ready for a lot of those type of things. So it's difficult, like you said, for us as adults. So helping them to cope and to realize, again, we try to go back to that that idea that we are a family at Ethel Kight, and so we, a port in the storm, so to speak. And so when those children do come from situations that are quite stressful and quite overwhelming, we try to give them some love and nurture and let them know it's okay and that they're safe.
Good. That's great. What about you, Mr. Moe?
Very similar to some of what Ms. Parker said. When we sit with our students, sometimes they're what we call this in the silent period when they first get to school, that they will not speak. So the teacher's like, well, do they know anything? How do we? And it's nice to get them out sometimes and work with them with their peers where they speak freely, because they're not embarrassed of what they say. It's a very safe environment. We work on our English language. We talk about some academic words that maybe they're hearing in their class that they're not really understanding. We can spend a little bit more time focusing on that where it's a smaller group, so that they're able to truly understand and then take that knowledge back to their academic class and be successful for that. We also kind of peer up with their parents. Sometimes the parents speak no English. So we translate as much documents as we can to go home so the parents can feel part of the school, part of the family, so they know what's going on. And if they have questions, we're there to help. We've got interpreters that we can use in case there's an issue of, I don't understand, we need some more help. So we have those available to us, those resources as well.
And are you required to speak different languages yourself as the
ESOL? I am. We do have some ESOL teachers who are bilingual. I am not. No. I took French in high school, which has paid off nothing because we don't have so many French students coming to our school.
But
I do kind of dabble in Spanish every once in a while. And it's funny when I speak, the kids look at me like, you don't say that right at all. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm trying. So we have a good time learning words to each other.
So there's definitely an art to opening a world to students who have no idea what you're saying.
Oh, absolutely. It would be like if we were to go in a plane and they just drop us off maybe in China and say, good luck.
Exactly.
We would be lost. And we wouldn't be worried about words like perimeter or area. We'd be worried about bathroom and food.
Absolutely.
So we have to work with those students to make sure that those needs are met first, and then we can work on the academic language.
Good, good. So let's transition here quickly. We have about a minute left.
Okay.
And I'd like to talk a little bit about technology because this is definitely a digital era. Folks my age and older are known as digital immigrants, and those who are born now and of course younger are digital natives, meaning that's all they know is technology. So how are you as Ethel Kight incorporating technology into instruction, if you can share just a little bit?
We're fortunate that we have 3 computer labs at our campus, and they are used constantly. We also have Promethean Boards in about 90% of our classrooms, which are interactive boards that the students can go up, touch something. It's almost like a touch screen, and the screens will do certain things, and they can have what we call eggs where they can vote, and it will show displays of how the kids are choosing their answers, which is quick feedback for the teacher. I think our new school will be Wi-Fi, which is going to be tremendously helpful. Hopefully we'll be getting into the iPad technology so the kids will actually have those that they can use. But with technology, you know, as soon as we buy it and get it installed, it's almost outdated.
Of course.
Some of the technology that we have is our new AR program, which I believe all the elementary schools and maybe all the middle and high schools have it as well, where the students can take a test on a book that they've read, and an email will be sent to the parent's email address to let the parents know your child took a test, this is how they did, this is how they're progressing. So it helps with a lot of communications with the parents. So
we just see technology spreading through our system, and we're upgrading our computers and adding more, so that's a great thing. And you all are not going to believe this, but we are out of time.
Oh my goodness.
But before we close the program out, are there any upcoming events that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Yes, we have it coming in January, on the 23rd of January, we have our family reading night, and we encourage all of our families to come out and participate. We have some exciting activities for that night, and that will be at the school that night from 5:30 to 7. And then we also have a family skate night at Red's Roller Rink or Drum. Red Roller Drum, is that
Skating
right?
rink.
Skating rink?
Red,
Okay.
red skating ring.
There we go. And that's in February. So if you want more information about either of those events, just look at our website, or you can contact the school, and that number is 706-812-7943.
Well, again, thank you, Lennis Parker and Thomas Moat
Thank you.
with Ethel Kight Magnet School. We are so glad that they were here today. And thank you, our viewers, for watching Spotlight on Education. And until next time, make it a great day.